Hi, I'm Dr. Lavanya Sithanandam, a board-certified pediatrician and travel medicine specialist. At my clinic, Park Pediatrics and Park Travel Clinic in Maryland, I frequently counsel families planning trips to Africa, whether it's to visit their friends and family or to take a dream safari vacation. Making sure my patients are protected from preventable diseases is key for them having a safe and healthy journey. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the most important vaccinations that you may need for your Africa trip and explain what they're for, why they matter, and when to get them. So let's get started. I like to think of travel vaccinations in three different buckets. The first one is the routine vaccines that you'll need. The second bucket is required vaccinations to enter the country. And the third bucket is the recommended vaccinations. First, you're going to want to make sure that you're up to date with all of your routine childhood vaccinations. These include your measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, your tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis vaccine, polio vaccine, hepatitis B, and your chickenpox shot. And if it's in the season, then flu vaccine as well. So diseases like measles and polio still circulate in many parts of the world, including in Africa, and an outbreak can happen quickly. If you're an adult, you may qualify for a polio or tetanus booster. Now, let's talk about travel-specific vaccines. These depend on your destination, the length of your stay, and the activities you'll be doing. You'll need to consult with your doctor or travel medicine specialist to get what's specific for your itinerary or for your specific health situation. But I want to give you a general sense of the most commonly recommended vaccines for Africa. The first one is yellow fever vaccination. Yellow fever is a serious mosquito-borne viral illness found in parts of sub-Saharan Africa. There are 25 African countries that actually require proof of yellow fever vaccination for entry, especially if you're arriving from another country that has yellow fever in that country. So countries that require this yellow fever vaccination certificate, also called the yellow card, include most of West Africa, like Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Cameroon, but also some in Eastern and Central Africa, such as Rwanda, Congo, Angola. In places like Kenya or Tanzania or Ethiopia in East Africa, you may only be required to show a yellow fever card if you're entering from another country that has yellow fever endemic to that country. So even if it's not required, the vaccine may still be strongly recommended in much of tropical Africa where yellow fever is present, just because the illness can be pretty severe. And you want to get this vaccine at least 10 days before your trip at a yellow fever approved vaccination site, such as one of our clinics. And it's typically provided just one time, and it gives you lifelong protection for that one single dose. Now let's review some of the recommended vaccinations for Africa. Typhoid vaccine is one of the most commonly recommended. Typhoid fever is spread through contaminated food or water, especially in areas with limited sanitation. It's a good idea for most travelers heading to rural or small town Africa. There are two options: an oral vaccine that lasts 5 years or an injectable one that lasts 3 years. When you see us for your pre-travel consult, we'll let you know which one we think is the best one for you. The oral vaccine needs to be stored properly in the fridge and taken every other day for a total of 8 days. So that may or may not work for everyone. Whereas the typhoid vaccine is just one injection and you're protected for the next 3 years. The next vaccine is the Hepatitis A vaccine that we tend to recommend anytime someone is traveling outside of the US to another country. Hepatitis A is a liver infection, also spread through contaminated food or water. It's common in many African countries, and most travelers should get this vaccine unless they've already been vaccinated or had the disease. Most children in the US have received this vaccine as part of their routine vaccination series at 12 months and 18 months of age. So double check your vaccine record since you might have already gotten them. And if you are traveling with an infant less than 1 year of age, your child can get the vaccine as early as 6 months old. So the vaccine is a 2-dose series, but even 1 dose before travel offers protection. Just remember to get the second dose within 18 months for lifelong protection. The next vaccine that we tend to recommend for anyone traveling outside of the US and going to Africa is hepatitis B. This vaccine is especially important for people who are going to be traveling longer than 1 month, those working in healthcare, or anyone at risk for blood exposure or unprotected sex. If you didn't receive this vaccine as part of your routine childhood vaccinations, then the hepatitis B vaccine is given in a 3-dose series over 6 months. But there's also accelerated schedules available if you're short on time and need to leave before that time period. The next recommended vaccine for some travelers to Africa is the meningitis vaccine, the meningococcal. And meningitis is a potentially deadly infection spread by close contact, especially in the meningitis belt or sub-Saharan Africa from Senegal to Ethiopia. This vaccine is required for pilgrims going to Mecca and is strongly recommended during the dry season when outbreaks are more likely. Most teenagers these days would have received this vaccine at age 11 and 16 years as part of their routine adolescent vaccination schedule. So again, check your records to see if you've already been protected against this. And again, talk to your doctor to see if your country is in that meningitis belt. Here are a few more vaccines to ask about at your pre-travel consult, depending on your itinerary. So rabies. Rabies pre-exposure vaccine is recommended for long-term travelers. Kids, especially those visiting friends and relatives staying in rabies endemic countries, or anyone working with animals, or someone going on a very long trip, doing backpacking type activities, then you should really consider getting this vaccine. If you get bit by an animal with concern for rabies on your trip, getting the rabies pre-exposure vaccination primes your body's immune system, making post-exposure treatment vaccination more effective. And if you get the pre-exposure vaccine, then you don't need something called rabies immunoglobulin or RIG, which isn't available in all countries, especially in Africa. So while you'll still need to get the rabies post-exposure vaccine, at least 2 of them, the number that you need to get is less, and the availability for it is much more plentiful than the RIG. So it gives you a certain sense of peace of mind, and you may not have to fly back home. So that's another vaccine to consider. Let's talk about malaria and mosquito-borne disease prevention. While this is not a vaccine, it is extremely important. You'll most likely need a prescription anti-malarial medication based on your itinerary. If you're just traveling to a place like Cape Town in South Africa, where there is no malaria, then you won't need the medication, but most of Africa and most itineraries will require this. It's important that you have a clear sense of your itinerary when consulting with your doctor, but if you're not sure, then they'll usually just prescribe the medication just to be on the safe side. And it's not just about anti-malarial medication. You're gonna also make sure that you have mosquito spray that has DEET in it, or you have clothes that have been soaked with permethrin. Make sure you wear light-colored clothing, utilize bed netting, and doing multiple different things to prevent mosquito bites can help you stay safe from those kind of illnesses. I'm going to be doing another video just on this topic of mosquito avoidance and sprays and best practices for prevention. But what I'll say for now is, the best type of mosquito spray is one that contains DEET. And the percentage is not as important as following the instructions on reapplication of the mosquito spray, but my personal favorite brand is Ultrathon. And I recommend that for kids and adults that come to my travel clinic. I've used it personally for my own family when we go to India, Sri Lanka. We literally travel the world. So when should you get your travel vaccines and consult? I recommend ideally 4 to 6 weeks before your trip, because some vaccines require multiple doses and you want to give your body time to build up that immunity. But if you have a last-minute trip, it's never too late to get protected. I would still start the vaccinations since some protection is better than none. Vaccines are one of the best ways to stay healthy while exploring the world. At Park Pediatrics and Park Travel Clinic, we offer comprehensive travel consultation for children, teens, adults, families heading abroad. Have questions or want to schedule your pre-travel visit? Give us a call or visit our website today. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a really safe and enjoyable trip to Africa.